I would like to introduce next Sri B V A Rao. Sri B V A Rao has been an academician for 5 decades of over 5 decades in teaching experiences in various specialized related fields of engineering. He has been and is serving currently as Chairman, National Design NDRF, that is National Design Research Forum of the Institution of Engineers. He has worked in IIT Bombay, IIT Chennai for 32 years and worked at private institutions at MVIT as Dean and VIT Vellore as the Pro Chancellor and later as Director International Relations. Sir has been one of the earliest to introduce international accreditations at VIT and later advisor to international relations at KL University, Vijayawada. Sir has got his PhD in mechanical engineering, and then he has published a lot of papers, around 200 papers in international journals and conferences. Sir, as on behalf of the committee, I welcome you, sir, for this discussion. Thank you.
Respected Chair, esteemed members on the dais, other esteemed participants. This is a subject, as you know, we can talk for hours. To improve higher education and to make world-class universities. I don't want to take, it's really difficult to stress upon because I have almost about 35 years working at IITs and another 20 years at private universities like VIT University, KL University, and MVIT here, IIT Bombay. So I've been deeply involved in how to improve this higher education. Every time, we are all trying to do something. Even the IITs have been criticized recently, as you are aware. Even Dr. Suresh also was mentioning. I remember my Indian Institute of Science days, long ago, when I was the first batch of masters from Indian Institute of Science. I joined for the Diploma of Indian Institute of Science in '56, and then when I got out, I got my first master's degree. It used to be very interesting. All my teachers were younger, and I was married. All others were bachelors. All my teachers were bachelors, but they were all doing research. What was the type of research doing? Okay, because Indian Institute of Science were started meant to do research. A lot of engines, foreign engines used to be there. Only engines that were manufactured in India was like Kirloskars and other things those days. Cummins and Kirloskars and such people. Okay, they would get their engines. Now we'll try to improve the combustion efficiency of this, fuel efficiency and all that. And they would do the combustion chamber, some change. 4 or 5 years of research. There, they did not know what PhD and doctorate, because all of them were only just not even masters. They're all bachelors. Even the head of the department was only a bachelor's in engineering. His only experience was, he was a brake inspector. Because that was the days of it. So they would do, after 4 years, they find that the original combustion chamber design was the best. So they didn't know what to do, whether to give them a PhD degree, because it is really research, because they have not done anything better than that. So mutilation, so education also has become like this. Right? So whenever something is done in US or abroad, something happens, we should change our syllabus. They are talking of nano, so we should also introduce nano. We should use something else, we have also done. Lot of mutilation, twisting this way, that twisting that way, and all syllabuses. I think changing the syllabuses, changing, some people talking pattern of education, examination system. I think Dr. Suresh can vouch, because he was also our student, and also I was the only fellow who introduced open notes examination. All throughout my IITs, including VIT, all my examinations only open notes. No closed examination. Nobody asked me why I am doing it. I never followed that. They can bring all their books to the examination, But my question papers were very tough. If to even to take 50-60%, people would still remember those days how tough it was. So I think so long as all these colleges are affiliated colleges, how do you expect to do anything unless each college is independent and they can introduce their own things, and then perhaps we can think of a world-class universities or institutions. So it's only the India, or nowhere in the world there is affiliated system of college. Nowhere. Every college, if it's a small college, it's an independent college. There's nothing like an affiliation there. It's only in India. We want, universities wants to hold the colleges under their thumb and follow. Somebody dictates the syllabus, somebody teaches, somebody sets the paper, somebody corrects, and somebody university gives the examination. What is the meaning in talking of higher education, world-class university in this country? It's nonsense. With my 50 years of academic experience, tell whatever we may talk about it, we will never attain that goal. Forget about it. There's no point in trying to discuss on that issue of a world-class university. Nobody is interested. Its question is, the solution we found, the private universities will come up with something. But private universities cannot support high research. Today, 90% of the research funding comes from where? Governmental. And they are not the end users. The problem, they are not the end users. DST, okay. Finally, they will give it to institutions like IITs and Institute of Science and Science, where at least there is some possibility something will be done. They have no confidence in other institutions. Because they are all affiliated colleges, they don't know, they are not under their care, they are not under their control. Even if the fellow will receive money and may not be there tomorrow. So such things will not happen. So talking about this subject, I've participated, I've written a lot of articles on this and several things published, but it makes no sense really. So what I just want to only take something is, globalization has brought, today the whole topics was to be something to be related with innovation, innovating. Because I think all of you are going to get a book released today, this morning, on innovation by my son, Dr. J. Rao, who is a professor at Babson College, who travels extensively to Europe, Asian countries, and Latin America and all that. He talks on this subject. And they have done extensive research and he does a good job. And that book is really good. And I think every one of you who is here, I think you should go through and come out with your own opinion on, because nobody knows what innovation is. As you said, the two brains, the left brain and the right brain, which I was telling, the left line, somebody said, in the left brain there's nothing left in it. The right brain did nothing right. So ultimately, so you try to twist here, to twist this thing, these are the things which is going to make up. It's not going to help. So that book particularly, innovation is not God sent. The people can be trained in innovative practices. Because the Western world no longer thinks publication is an important thing. Publish or perish has gone into innovate or perish. So everybody today has to understand what is innovation. The multinational companies who are all here, who are doing their own R&D work much better than what is happening outside. Even in Bangalore, the MNC group, it's something like an independent state, where if you enter their R&D, it's totally different from any of the R&D going on in the colleges or any other industries here. Private industries, hardly anything. Their own R&D, this space science, aeroscience, they have their own R&D organizations. And in the past, we have also done, institutions also have helped, IITs, all the other people have helped them to come up, those R&D organizations. But today, this topic is very important. Can we establish world-class universities at all? Do we see even in the nearer time, 10, 15 years, is it possible that we can convert to some of the things, etc. and other things? The problem is the type of research carried out, even in IITs, 90% of them, 95% of them only to covers the shelves. That's all. Nobody is going to take them out and use this research, because This research carried out at the universities have nothing to do with the real industrial practice, because none of the industries will support those things, very few things. And then at all, if they may get some help from the governmental funds, etc., who are not the end users. So most of the research, as you say, is no relevance. So this supports, it involves, if you want to be a student to be innovative, the teacher also has to be innovative. That is the most important part, which is not true. It involves everyone in the education process, such as role of students, teachers, discipline experts, engineering practitioners, learning scientists, and education specialists. It's a discipline by itself, innovation. This supports research which addresses three aspects of engineering education: how students best learn the ideas, principles, and practices to become creative and innovative engineers, and how this learning is measured. How to more effectively translate successes in engineering, education, research into widespread practice of curriculum, student learning, innovation models, and cyber learning technology. Implementation of programs and their assessment through suitable accreditation teams. With such innovative ideas introduced into the engineering curriculums, it's expected that the present-day engineer should be able to deal with a rapid pace of technological change, a highly interconnected world, and complex problems that require multidisciplinary approaches, systems thinking, which Lieutenant General Sundaram talked about morning, and effective use of human and natural resources. Today, if you had seen a lot of newspapers in the recent times, because of there's no relevant research being carried out, lot of newspaper writing, is the education system keeping pace with new trends, needs and gaps? Higher education at the crossroads, the future of engineering education. High education, low reputation. Engineering education at crossroads. Several articles, people are writing. To overcome all these, universities should pay greater attention in appointing faculty. That is the problem. Where do you get faculty? Good faculty. Your IITs don't get, that's why they went from 60 to 62, 62 to 65. No, they can even continue up to 70. Even at 70, they don't want to relieve them. Also, they want to even continue further. That's how I retired only at 80 now. So that I could continue from 60 to 80, because still I could have continued, because there are no good teachers. Particularly at senior level, who should be capable of good research, thus attracting both funding agencies as well as the industry. Tomorrow we are going to discuss only on funding agencies. The whole session is meant for that. Because they are also confused where their money will go, whether that money will be used properly spent. As it's well known that teaching is a soft option and research is a hard option. Greater motivation and control should be exhibited by any management. It should be understood that creation of knowledge, that is research, differentiates a university from a college. In the coming years, only those organizations which value research would shine and meet the global challenges and needs of a country. Putting learning at the heart of the academic enterprise will mean overhauling the conceptual, procedural, curricular, and other architecture of higher education in all disciplines of science, engineering, commerce, and management. So there are a lot of strategic issues related. I'm not going through all those things. There are many things like this, because there is a high growing competition in higher technological institutions. You go to the US, this month it proposed MIT is number 1, Harvard is number 2, Stanford is number 3. 2-3 months later, the whole thing is reversed like that. They go so closely about there is high competition. Rapid and complex changes in markets and technology, emergence of a knowledge-intensive society and service sectors, multiple dimensions of institutional accountabilities, so many things like this coming up. But what is most important if a university to grow, the vision of any higher technological institution is to become one of the best among world-class institutions. We are always talking, we want to become number world one. So long as I was in VIT University, if we're always talking, how to become the world. We want to be world one. So we'll put it in India today, number 1, number 2, like that, etc. Go on like this. But this does not make the institutions like that. in terms of quality education, academic and sponsored research, human resources, infrastructure facilities, and the academic environment at the institute. To achieve these, suitable strategic plans combined with committed vision, mission, and goals, as well as the socio-economic conditions in which the institute functions are to be taken into account. Survival, stability, and strength are the basic requirements of a healthy, competitive, and an excellent organization. What is most important is academic freedom. Does anybody understand, any college understand what is academic freedom? So, academic freedom means with responsibility. So here, everybody has to go and then sign at a particular hour. Use a biometric, it is putting a thumb. That is the thing. That is the academic. No freedom. There is no freedom for academic people. Academic freedom is central to the future of India's higher education system. Let the college, let them implement academic freedom properly. There is no academic freedom. In its efforts to develop a knowledge economy and institutions of excellence comparable to the best in the world, there is a great need to understand this term as a human right and its social responsibility. There are international initiatives to protect this academic freedom. It is nice to say that at VIT, the chancellor always to tell, it's Dr. Rao who introduced academic freedom at VIT. I did it. I did it other colleges also, but again, stories are a bit different. The concept of academic freedom should be understood in the light of globalization and new challenges posed to higher education. This has a direct impact on curriculum development, program administration, recruitment of faculty members, teaching technology, assessment regimes, and professional engagement of education institutions. Third aspect is fine faculty makes fine students. How much time should a teacher spend on teaching and counseling and in his or her laboratory doing research? The controversy over teaching vis-a-vis research is yet to be resolved in most of the universities. In general, the public overvalues teaching compared to research and publication. More attention should be given to faculty development, recruitment, training, consultancy, and industry interaction and faculty evaluation. There is also a long concern that Indian universities are degenerating into degree-producing machines. Most of the institutions here are teaching shops only. There is no research really worthwhile going. Then foreign universities in India, outside India, play a large role in the Indian higher education system. See, they attract thousands of students from our country each year. More than 60% of the IIT students go away there. Not only in engineering, but also medical. Most of the Asian students are still crazy about the foreign degrees from developed nations like USA, Canada, UK, and Australia. But hardly students come to the Asian universities. Our universities are yet to make a mark to attract students from developed nations. It's not only the quality of education, but also the cultural differences and facilities. Even the students from Middle East, African, and Southeast Asian countries, including China, the brighter ones prefer to go to the Western universities, and the others who get admitted to Asian universities here are slow learners. I'm not telling useless fellows, but slow learners, and also difficult to handle them for many cultural reasons. At the global level, the best institutional players are aiming at international standards and expressions of excellence. This is the reason why the world-class universities are actively involved in attracting our best undergraduate and graduate students. Incidentally, this would also help to serve their own national needs and provide international public goods, still working within their own national regulations and policies, processing a world-class leadership team with long-term strategic visions and receiving sufficient financial resources to support their staff and students, and also maintaining adequate international standard to support their varied education, research, and service. They also hold a special place in the chain of innovation. More and more countries are joining this race to create world-class universities of their own through providing them more funds of infrastructure. This is very important to note because the Japan, through its 21st Century Center of Excellence program between 2002 to 2006, they called it Global Center of Excellence program in 2007, world premier international research center in 2008. China, through its 985 project for 39 universities since 99, they want to make them world class. South Korea, the Brain Korea 21 program in 1999. Singapore is funding both NUS and NTU for making them world-class universities. Malaysia, through its APEX accelerated program for excellence, to make at least one university of theirs in the top 100 universities in the world to get included. Not even today, Indian education administrators have said, we want to make this world-class and pumping so much money. Instead of pumping that money to only the earlier IITs, they created 60 IITs, and none of the IITs have anybody anymore. So our policies are different, so you can't expect world-class universities to come up in India. Germany has initiated through its Excellence Initiative program supporting 37 universities between 2006 to 12. Not every nation needs to have a world-class university. We need not have it if we don't deserve it, especially when basic needs of our higher education is not met. For many smaller countries, a world-class university is beyond the ability of a nation to support. World-class universities can be built by upgrading the existing ones or by merging existing ones altogether to create new ones. All this depends on availability of funds. Each country has to adopt its own strategies. There is no universal model for creating these world-class universities, and there is no ideal model also. It's also not possible that every discipline of these universities to make them world-class. Even MIT and Harvard are no exceptions. I'll just sum up. Globalization and the evolution of the knowledge-based economy have caused dramatic changes to the character and functions of higher education, such as reforming and restructuring in most countries of the world to make them more globally competitive. Competitiveness is imbibed in this internationalization of higher education. It promotes cultural diversity and fosters intercultural understanding, respect, and tolerance among people, including the pursuit of the notion of global citizenship. It contributes to building more than economically competitive and politically powerful. Lastly, it represents a commitment to international solidarity, human harmony, and helps to build a climate of global peace. It's unquestionable that the notion of international education comprises the primary goal of international exchanges that provide opportunities for countries to learn from one another, or those less developed countries to receive assistance from their counterparts. It's not necessary the developing ones to duplicate the system simply copied from the developed. They should adapt suitably to suit one's needs by following the Western standards, marketization and corporatization procedures to bring about salient features in the transnational education. The internationalization of higher education with its humanizing process respects the multicultural and intercultural characteristics of mankind in the globe. Finally, I would like to conclude some of the famous sayings. Knowing where one belongs can transform an ordinary person, hardworking but otherwise mediocre, into an outstanding performer. Peter Drucker. It's not the strongest of the species that survives, not the most intelligent, but the one most responsive to change. Charles Darwin. To improve is to change, to be perfect is to change often. Winston Churchill. The change only can bring out a world-class university concept, and our higher education will survive. Thank you very much.